Hello, hello. It's very early in the morning in London, so conscious of that. I realise a few of you might be watching this on replay, so when you do, if there's anything else that you want to know, just make sure that you drop comments below. So we had a poll, inflammation causes versus how to have and keep a weight loss mindset, and the winner was how to have and keep a weight loss mindset. So that's what we're going to focus on today. And there are there are obviously a few aspects to this, and it's really, really, really important how you're framing this for yourself, because if you think about this as weight loss and what I have to cut out, your brain is automatically thinking about deprivation and what you can't have. And for a lot of people, before they start something like a diet, and I don't like to use the word diet, it's better to think of it as like a lifestyle change and to actually make it a lifestyle change. But before a diet, people will binge, okay? Because they're thinking, wow, once I'm on the diet, I won't be able to eat any of this, so I best get my chocolate cake in now, because then when I'm on the diet, I'll be sticking to it. So the way that you frame it is going to really change how your brain responds. So if you, and this links into your why, okay? So your purpose is really key. Like, I kind of boil it down to a few things. We're going to look at it as like framed around like purpose, peace, people, preparation, and progress. So if you look at it from these kind of principles, we should get somewhere. So purpose, you've got to have a really strong why as to why you're doing something. And it has to mean something to you, because for most people, you know, they could be in a lot of trouble health-wise, but not want to lose weight for their health. It just isn't compelling enough. Obviously, depending on how bad exactly the health situation is. But, you know, we've all seen people who are desperately in need of a health change who won't make that health change. You know, the person with lung cancer smoking cigarettes. Your why is really key here. So if we take the example that Mel Robbins used in her TEDx talk to say, you know, I'm going to lose weight to be healthy, but losing your mood so that you can hook up with somebody, now that's a reason, right? That's motivating. It's something that you really want, and you can link it to pleasure, okay? So if you're kind of using NLP on yourself, you want to link very strong pleasure to achieving your outcome and very strong pain to not achieving it, okay? So you have to think about the worst case scenario. If I go on like this, you know, what's it going to be like in a year? What's it going to be like in 2 years? What effect will that have on my family, on the people around me? Okay, if I do achieve this, how different could it be? And you have to really go into it. But we'll, so strong why, okay, but we'll come on to the visualization in a minute. So sticking to purpose, so why are you doing this? If you know your human needs and your values, you're going to be in a much stronger position. So what do you value most in life, okay? Do you value freedom? Do you value fitness? Do you want to maybe look at what your highest values are and think about adding something like fitness or health to your highest values? Keep it somewhere where you can see it, okay? Because what's important to you, what you hold dearest in life, is going to be what you stick to ultimately. So if family is on your list of highest values and your family are pressuring you to eat foods that you don't want to eat in your healthier lifestyle, you've got a conflict and you've got a problem, and you're setting yourself up to fail. So if you know that family is one of your highest values, but you also want to be healthier, then you need to find a way to talk to them about it and what you're doing, or have them associate you with being healthy and that, you know, this plan is important to you. Whatever way you bring that in, because the people around you, and this is my next point, the people who are around you will have a huge influence, okay? So your peer group, your family, your partner, professionally, if there are donuts in the office, this is a big problem for a lot of people. But the other part of aspect of people is who can help me. Okay, can I get a health coach to help me out with this? Is there someone that I know, a friend of mine who's really healthy, who maybe I can do some exercise with, even if I'm not at the same level as them? Okay, someone you can partner with. If you can find a friend to be an accountability partner, if you can't afford a health coach. All of these things will set you up for success, but people is a really important aspect of it. We're human beings, we want to connect, and if that connection is happening very often through food and drink, then saying no to that can feel like we're going against one of our strongest human needs, being connection. It's a very important human need. So you need to set yourself up for success here. In terms of alcohol, you can, have things like sparkling water with lime so that you're not upsetting the balance with the people around you. It doesn't look like you're not drinking, okay? It's the people aspect. You've got to think about in advance, what are my potential pitfalls? And hi Paula, hi Katrina. Yeah, I'm just at mum and dad's, so it is amazing scenery. Yay for New Zealand. But yeah, you've got to set yourself up in terms of the people that you have around you. If there are friends of yours, okay, who are cake heads, all right, you want to think about how much time you're spending with them, and in what situations. So if you've got more people around you, spend time with them. But one-on-one, maybe don't do that if you know it's a friend who's going to pressure you to eat. And bearing in mind that there are some people who will see you start to lose weight, and unfortunately they might be feeling bad about themselves because they haven't lost weight, and subconsciously sabotaging you and saying, oh, just have some cake, have some pies, have some of this, I've got all this stuff, oh, I made it for you, or what have you, and guilting you into joining them in having that stuff. Okay, so you need to set yourself up for success by not placing yourself in these situations with those, riskier people. Okay, now, how people see you as well is important. Now, one of my clients, she realized that her family saw her as being a healthy person, and she was thrilled when she discovered this. Oh, auntie, I won't say her name. She's a spinach eater. She loves the green stuff. And she was kind of quietly thrilled because she's like, oh, this is great. Because then the pressure is off me to eat those desserts that everybody else is eating, to eat those other things, because they already know that, hi, Debbie. Hey, Terence. They know that you're in that different mindset. You don't identify with eating those foods. So your identity is a really big part of this, because how you see yourself, you're going to have to change that if you want to change your life. Okay, if you want different things in life, you have to become a different person. No two ways about it. Fortunately, it's a lot easier than people think. We're just not really willing to take the risk. Okay, so think about your identity. How do you see yourself? It's helpful to write this down. Who am I? What do I want people to say about me? What do I want people to say about me at my funeral if I died? Soon, God forbid. We hope that doesn't happen. But if that happened, what do I want people to say about me? Do I want people to say that, I cared about my health and, I did my best to live a long and healthy life? Or, do I want my little young relatives being upset because they lost me too soon because I didn't care about my health enough? I wasn't looking after myself. Think about it from the perspective of the other people that you're impacting. I guilted my dad into losing weight because I said, no, I don't have kids, right? And I have no plans to have any just yet, but I will one day. So I said, oh, Dad, you need to be able to run around after your grandkids when you have them, and I want you to be in good shape. And it worked, right? But helping people to think about the others that they're impacting, it's huge, okay? So think about other people. Now, it's really important here that you, peace is my next part. It's really important that you show yourself some self-love without food, okay? This is something that I get my clients to do when they're looking to lose weight, be more healthy. Okay, so ordinarily, if you're taking a break from the office, you're thinking, okay, I'll take 5. I'll go grab a piece of cake, have a coffee, just to get away from the office and have a breather. Or I'm celebrating something and I'm going to celebrate with food. I'm going to treat myself. Okay, very dangerous if you are linking those foods to a treat situation. Okay, you want to try and associate and, perhaps write these out as affirmations. Like I feed my body nutritious food. Okay, you need to see it as a treat when you're giving yourself healthy, nutritious food. And as much as it is hard initially to change your habits, sugar cravings, for example, die down hugely if you go cold turkey on them within 2 or 3 weeks. So it does become easier. Okay, I promise you it becomes easier. It might feel extremely hard at the beginning, but it does get better. So find ways to treat yourself that don't involve food. New lipstick, for the guys, maybe, I don't know, whatever you want that's not lipstick. Maybe a nice new shirt or something, some cool new trainers for the gym, to help get you motivated. But show yourself self-love, whether it's, like maybe a nice hot bath, burn some candles, guys can do that too. But showing yourself that self-love, it helps bring down your stress, okay? This is another point, like Robert Sapolsky in his book, Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers, he talks about, amongst other things, that some people are more likely to eat when they're stressed. Okay, let's be honest, most. Some people are more likely to, eat more when they're stressed, and some people eat less when they're stressed. Okay, so there is that sort of predisposition, but this is not an excuse, and it's not something that's set in stone. Okay, and if you know that you're a person that tends to eat when you're stressed, be kind to yourself and bring your stress down. Okay, get more sleep. When you have more sleep, you don't need to apply motivation, okay? Because you're already feeling better. You're more likely to reach for the junk food when you're sleep deprived, and especially when you're hungover. Now, we all know that, okay? Greasy breakfast, fry up. And it continues throughout the day. And unfortunately, it becomes a vicious circle because you think, well, because I've already gone over my calories because of the alcohol, or I've already had this bad thing, I may as well just finish off the plate and have more. And it kind of balloons. So what started off as one little treat becomes much more. So you need to set yourself up for success so that you're not having to apply motivation the whole time, okay? Drink lots of water in between your meals, okay, so that you don't feel as hungry, because sometimes our body thinks we're hungry and actually we're thirsty, okay? Now, in terms of the motivation, it can really help to write out some positive affirmations. And my own mother has some wonderful affirmations that she uses. And she's okay with me saying this, by the way. I did ask her. So I'm going to read you a couple of those because I think they're just fantastic. I will give myself the things that I need so that I may be healthy and strong. If my body does not know what it needs, I will guide it. I will learn to recognize the difference between real hunger and addictive cravings. Okay, very important. I will feed myself when I am hungry and lovingly guide myself to a life free of addiction. Now, she's not sure where she found these affirmations. There are a few more of them. But it's about retraining your mind, because after a while, you start to think in this new way. Your thoughts are something that you can guide, and you don't have to listen to every single thought. Okay, you can put in more positive thoughts like this one. You can put in more helpful thoughts, more constructive thoughts. And if you've got a piece of paper that you can look at and you can read when you feel like you need it, you're just putting more helpful thoughts in. You get to choose what goes in, okay? But if you're, like watching cake making programs on TV, it's not going to help your cause, okay? So all of these things will help you. Now, you need to have preparation. That's the next thing. You need to have systems in place so that you don't have to rely on motivation as much. Okay, this is really key. So in his book, so the psychologist for British cycling, Steve Peters. He wrote this very cool book called The Chimp Paradox. It talks about your brain, the way it works. Now, basically, we make decisions with our subconscious mind, and then we justify it with our prefrontal cortex afterwards. Oh, thanks, Debbie. Yes, they are great little affirmations. There's a few here. I'll post them afterwards. So my mum, the reason for like that I touched on that with my mum is like I've been through my own kind of weight fluctuations. My mother has been through it in a much more dramatic way. So I talk to her about what works for her as well as, you know, knowing what works for me and what works for my clients. And I help guide my mother as well as I help listen to her too, because, you know, she's got some experience with this. So where was I? So preparation. Now, your prefrontal cortex will justify what you've done afterwards, but it hasn't actually made the decision. So you think, oh, it sounds all logical, you know, oh, I'm just eating because I'm hungry, you know, but you've actually done it because of some subconscious urge. So what Steve Peters talks about in this book is how once you've got your monkey or chimp brain, okay, now it's much stronger than your will, your motivation, much, much stronger, okay? It's always going to win if there's a battle. However, if you can get programs into your computer brain so that there's no negotiation, it's just an automatic program. This, by the way, is what happens when something turns into a habit, when you do it enough. Then it sidesteps the chimp brain, okay? So you don't have the option of falling off the wagon, relying on motivation, failing, chimp takes over and you feel bad about yourself, okay? If you've got it in the part of your computer brain where it's a habit already and it's just ingrained, then it's not an issue, okay? So for me, when I stopped eating dairy, when I stopped eating gluten, initially it was very hard to cut out because I was still giving myself the choice between whether I ate it or not. And once I had decided, and that comes back to your why, once you decide, no, I'm not having this anymore, that's not me, I'm having these other things instead. Once you've decided and it's not an option, it actually becomes easier. So then you can work it into a habit after however many days. Some people say 50-something, some people say 60 days to form a habit. After that time, which is a relatively short period of time, think about it, 60 days, in the grand scheme of your life, pretty short. It feels like a long time when you're building a new habit. But after that amount of time, it's a habit, it's in there, it's part of you, and you just accept it. Your brain accepts it. Okay, so the more that you can stick to it within that initial time period of this new habit, by the way, writing it down helps a lot, because then you can read every day, this is what I'm supposed to do. Okay, this is how I've decided it's going to be. I'm training at 6 in the morning or whatever, maybe you're training at 5:30. I'm prepping my food on Mondays and Wednesdays and Sundays, whenever it is. This is all part of preparation, by the way. Prepping your food, okay? Prep it. Trust me. Cook it in advance, prep it, put it in little meal-sized things, either in the freezer or in the fridge. Again, you're sidestepping your chimp brain, which can hijack you and make you head for the cake. Make you head for the unhealthy option that's at the local cafe near your work, because it's easier, it tastes good, whatever. It's what you previously always did. It's kind of part of your previous computer program, okay? If you prep your food and you know you've got it there, you're not going to want to waste it. You know that you can have it straight away. It's already there. It's free because you've already got it, and it's just setting you up for success. Make sure that you eat enough as well. When you're prepping your food, it needs to be a low GL diet. Okay, so you want some complex carbs, some veggies, some protein, and a little bit of fats, and some protein already has the fats in it. So like chicken is like high enough fat already. White fish doesn't have any fat, mostly, unless it's an oily one like mackerel. So with white fish, you might want to add a little bit of olive oil to your meal just to get some fats in there. Okay, because if you don't eat those, say if you're skipping complex carbohydrates, you're going to wind up with low blood sugar, it'll dip, chimp brain takes over, and then you've got sugar cravings on your hand, or coffee cravings, which is also not good because it'll spike your cortisol. Again, just vicious circle, okay? So you want your blood sugar to be as constant as possible, more like this. rather than the highs and crashes of eating without the complex carbohydrates. Okay, so keeping complex carbohydrates as part of the plan. That's a low glycemic index diet. Okay, there are a million cookbooks out there on this. My favorite is Patrick Holford. He was one of the founders of the nutrition school that I study at. Okay, so next thing is progress. So check the fit of your clothes as you go on. When you notice that things are a bit looser, okay, you know you've made some progress, you can kind of high-five yourself and give yourself one of those non-food treats. It's really quite a big motivator. And sometimes it will sneak up on you. In fact, very often it will sneak up on you, especially if you're following my advice, which is don't weigh yourself. Please don't weigh yourself. Scales will lie, okay? You can be building muscle and actually be losing size and still weigh the same, all right? Do not look at the scales, okay? And because your weight can fluctuate a lot anyway based on your hydration, like how much food you've got in your stomach. I mean, scales are not the way to measure it. You want to measure it by the fit of your clothes and take a progress pic in the mirror, okay? And when you're making progress, reward yourself without food, okay? Making sure that you're checking in with your accountability buddy, okay, so that you can tell them about your success stories. Again, this is key. If you've got someone else there that you have to check in with, like the human in us that's craving connection, this is one of our highest needs, wants to please them, wants to do well at this diet, doesn't want to feel like a bit of a dickhead with their accountability partner. So, we all have, bad days and times where we'll, kind of slip up a bit. That's okay, that's human, right? But your accountability partner is there to help keep you going, help get you back on track a bit quicker, yeah? So that if you're about to have a wobble, or as one of my clients puts it, she said, excuse my French, but I do swear, she calls it the fuck it button. And she said sometimes if she's stressed, other things are happening, it gets bigger. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And she just wants to hit it and then kind of binge on food that she shouldn't have, okay? And when she's feeling at peace, when she's, practicing, her meditation, she's employing, some self-love, giving herself relaxing downtime, sleeping enough. When she's doing these things, she says it shrinks, okay? It's the same thing for everybody. When we're feeling better, it's a lot easier to stick to a plan that feels like it's self-loving, okay? And sometimes the binge eating is, and it's the same thing with over drinking, with indulging in all kinds of things, any addictions, this sort of thing. It's a form of mini suicide, okay? So if we're feeling in a really happy place, we don't go for those things, okay? We're a lot less likely to, because we're in a place of self-care. Now, bearing in mind that people can starve themselves as a way of self-abuse as well. So it's not always the case. But by and large, when we're feeling happy, we're feeling loved, we're looking after ourselves, it's easier to stick to these things. So, what do you do when the shit hits the fan and, you're completely stressed out, there's a whole lot of things happening, and all you want to do is reach for the cake or just stuff a pie down to feel better? Okay, there are a few things that you can do. If you really feel like eating a whole lot of food, try and make it as healthy as possible. Okay, so like try and make it really heavy on the vegetables, some good complex carbs, make it balanced, protein, fats, this sort of thing. But try and throw some vegetables in there with it, okay? Schedule in cheat meals. If you've got scheduled cheat meals, you're looking forward to them, okay? You're hanging out for them, but it's coming and you can hang on there. Now, I'd recommend having a cheat meal about once every 6 days, but I don't recommend having cheat days or cheat weekends because it just throws things out too much, okay? And if you're eating the right amounts and good low GL food the rest of the time, you won't be starving. You may be a little bit hungry because you're not overeating, a little bit, but you won't be starving, okay? And you just have to get your body used to not being full all of the time. You have to get your body used to you not constantly grazing, okay? That's going to require a little bit of training, and you can use things to help you with that. So like if you are a bit of a grazer, I like to graze on cucumber sticks, carrot sticks, these sorts of things. Make sure that you've got them prepared. Again, set yourself up for success. Preparation is key. You should always have snacks with you that you can eat. A lot of people aren't that into protein shakes, but I have a wonderful vegan protein shake that I like. And I always have it to hand. Like, there's a little bit of protein in the bottom, and then there's the shaker on the top. So the protein shake, and I have some powdered greens in there and some chia seeds, which is good for fiber and just to help keep things moving freely. Okay, which is a very important part of this whole process. But I know that I've got it there. So because of my aversion to dairy and gluten, if I really need to eat and there's nothing else there to eat, I can just mix one of these up with water, and I know that it's going to tide me over. Also, little healthy, and make sure they're low sugar ones, little healthy bars that you can keep in your purse. You know, a little nut mix, but don't go crazy on the nuts. All right, a little nut mix. Just set yourself up for success, because then you're sidestepping motivation, okay, and it's going into your computer brain, and it's just habit. It's there already. It's all been done when you were in a better mindset, okay? It's all been done already, so you don't have to think about it. So I'm going to leave you with that, but I hope you can remember what I've said, all right? So we had, like, purpose. What's your why? Okay, why are you doing this? This is key. It's got to be a strong why. Peace, give yourself some self-love. Meditate is nice. Some affirmations. People, who have you got around you? Are they supporting you? Are they not? Have you talked to them about it, what you want to achieve? Who can help me? Accountability partners, health coach, a friend who also wants to lose weight, or a friend who's good at this already. Preparation, okay? You want to have systems in place. Schedule your cheat meal. Make sure your meals are low GL. Prep your food. Don't have foods in the house that aren't part of the plan, okay? Because then you're going to eat them. Progress. It's the last thing. Check the fit of your clothes. When you see some progress, give yourself a nice little loving treat that's not about food, okay? So I hope this has been helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you have any other questions, or what you find helpful here, or how, or maybe your own little success story and something that you find really good in keeping that weight loss mindset, okay? Helping yourself keep on track. Oh, Debbie says, I definitely need to focus on prepping healthy snacks to reach for, as I always forget to stop and eat until I'm desperate. Absolutely. It's the same thing for everybody, okay? We're all the same. We're going to go for what's convenient when it's there, when we're hungry. Because, if you're hangry, no one wants to get in the way of that. It's very powerful. So if you've already got something there that you can just wolf down, perfect. But you've got to set yourself up for success. If you don't have that food prepped, you're really setting yourself up to fail. So that's a good one. I'll post the affirmations from the mummy as well. Okay. Cheers, guys.